Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now we are starting our second session. On behalf of J.A.T Management, J.A.T Trust, J.A.T College, and all staff members, I welcome all participants. This is the second session of our second day's FDP program, Changing Trends in Quality Measures in Higher Education as per NAAC and National Education Policy 2020. Just we have heard Pingresa, and really he has guided us very nicely. Now we have with us another eminent personality, that is Honorable Dr. Siripurapu Sankar sir. He is retired principal of Akkineni Nageswara College, Gudivada, Andhra Pradesh. He is presently working as advisor for IQAC cluster and NAAC College. He is MA, MPhil and PhD. The topic of his research is rapprochement and reconciliation in the plays of William King. He has completed his PhD from Nageswara University. He is a research guide. He has guided many students, and many students are awarded PhD and MPhil degrees. He has got many awards. The prominent awards are Nation Builded Award from Rotary Club Gudivada, Best Teacher Award from the Government of Andhra Pradesh, Jewel of Montessori from Montessori Education Institution. He has organized many seminars and workshops and obtained grant from FDP as well as RUSA. He was coordinator for NAAC sponsored national level workshop organized by NAAC College. As a resource person, he has delivered a number of lectures. He has served as a member of Board of Studies of several autonomous colleges. He has written many books. He has prepared several monographs for students. His poems are published in international journals. He has delivered lectures on Mana TV also for degree students. He has delivered air talk many times. He acted as a coordinator of JKC and trained 29 students. Out of them, 9 students got selected for Infosys. His research papers and articles are published in international and national journals. Under his guidance, NAAC College, that is Akkineni Nageswara College, secured A grade of NAAC. He prepared the college for inspection by UGC Autonomy Committee, and the autonomy team granted autonomous status to the college. So, such a brilliant and versatile and scholar personality, eminent personality, renowned personality is with us. So now over to Sankar sir. We are eager to get guidance from you. Please, sir.
वो शंकर सर को आपको को होस्ट बनाना पड़ेगा शायद.
Oh, thank you, Pingle sir. They were not following.
Sorry for the.
I've been trying to see. Thank you for the wonderful webinar, Pingle sir. See, I enjoyed it and learned a lot from your presentation. And thanks to you also for giving a overview of what exactly NEP 2020 says. Just in one slide, you think I think you have brought out, you see, the salient features useful for teachers in NEP 2020. It's a 65-page document, no doubt, but 32 pages dealing with higher education, vocational teacher, technical education, all these things. But one slide from Pingle sir has brought them into a wonderful focus. Thanks to Sunetra primarily for involving us all in this webinar, and to the principal of the college, J.A.T. college, for addressing a letter and asking me to take part in this. And the nice words of introduction, by Sunetra once again, the HOD of our department, associated with the IQAC cluster through and through, and also being in touch with me, from time to time, on the need for the cluster resource persons to help them out in organizing and educating them on various aspects of higher education in this competitive world. The circulars of NAAC, filling up of AQR, SSR. I think, I do understand that they completed their first 2 cycles. I do not know if they are about to go for the 3rd cycle, or they already had their peer team visit of the 3rd cycle. I am not sure. I wish to know about it also. But do I have the permission to share my screen? May I share my screen?
Yes, sir, sure.
Right. Is this visible, sir? Is this visible? My screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir.
I think you can minimize the other participants from this, so that it will not come in the way of my.
It's okay, sir, for all the viewers.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see my screen, or the others also?
Yes, we can very clearly see your screen, sir.
Okay, right. IQAC cluster has given us, most of us, and particularly to me, from the South India, to know so many things about the colleges and their functioning in the state of Maharashtra and also in various places throughout India. IQAC cluster has become a pan-Indian organization catering to the needs of college teachers, principals, and IQAC coordinators from the length and breadth of India, from north Srinagar to south Toothukudi, from east Gujarat to west Bengal. The J.A.T college, J.A.T Arts, Science and Commerce College, exclusively for women, affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University, has been into organizing a faculty development program. When I Googled and looked at your website, I also found out that you had conducted a webinar earlier also, and your website also showed that you are you have recently completed a webinar on bonsai cultivation also. But this faculty development program aims to look into the changing trends in quality measures in higher education, with special reference to NEP 2020 as per NAAC parameters. As per NAAC parameters. National Education Policy 2020, your college. I was also impressed to see when I was looking at your website, don't save money for your dowry, spend that money for girls' education. What a wonderful saying, you have on that website of yours. I was very much impressed by the vision of the founders who thought in those lines. You do not come across such kind of saying, quote, on the website of any other colleges, perhaps. This is the committee, constituted by the central government for the draft of national education policy, headed by Professor Kasturi Rangan, former chairman of ISRO, and the other members are one from Bombay, Vasudha Kamath, then Mandula Bhargav is Brandon Ford Professor of Maths from Princeton University, United States of America, Ram Shankar Kuril, founder VC of Baba Sahib Ambedkar University, MP. TV Kattimani, VC of Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Madhya Pradesh. Once again, 2 people from Madhya Pradesh. Krishna Mohan Tripathi, Director of Secondary Education, UP. Mother Asif, Professor, Center for Persian and Central Asian Studies, School of Language, Literature and Cultural Studies, JNU, New Delhi. MK Sridhar, former Member Secretary, Karnataka Knowledge Commission, Karnataka, Shakila, and so on and so forth. There are other drafting committee members. What exactly is the vision? When you have a college, you have a vision, you have a mission, and you go about fulfilling the needs of the students, following your own vision and mission, and as per the directives of perhaps the university to which you are affiliated, to the following the government orders of the state in which you are functioning, and also following UGC directives as part of university grants commissions, norms, modes, and so on. This document, which has come in 2020 after the first COVID pandemic, has come to a lull, a little lull. It aims to bring about radical changes from school education to postgraduate and research education too. The 65-page document, I think your IQAC must have downloaded it from the MHRD website or UGC website or the government website. The first half of the document refers to school education, the changed pattern, and the second part, it has 27 points, sub-points. Point numbers 1 to 8 deal comprehensively with school education, secondary education. And from point number 9 to 27, we are concerned with higher education, and they deal with the vision for India's higher education system. It is wonderful in that it is a candid study of the existing situation over the length and breadth of India, and the people who have been co-opted to do this job have given a very open, realistic picture to the government. And the surprising thing is the central government has accepted this report as it has been submitted, and they also admit, you see, as we go through one slide after another, you will also find areas where we ourselves will be surprised. How come the central government accepted this kind of a report that that will be the idea that we'll have? But first about a little about the purpose of organizing an FDP. Why do we organize an FDP? It may be for the personal development of teachers to develop interpersonal skills. It is also, as FDP says, for career development and also for life planning also. And it is also something used for instructional development, instructional technology that has to be imbibed with the teachers so as to pass it on to the students in turn. And then the organization which is conducting it, it wants to bring about a change in the institutional academic environment for the better support of teachers and teaching in general. Then as teachers, we want to develop ourselves in a professional manner to fulfill not just the role of teaching. We also wish to go for research, and we also wish to go for service to the community from which we have come. So this is what an FDP aims to. 4 points: personal development, interpersonal skills, then instructional development, organizational ways to improve the institutional academic environment, and then the last way is the professional developments of the members, the teachers, the 35 odd teachers. And I was asking Mrs. Sunetra if you are going to keep it open to all the members of the cluster or people from outside. She said, sir, this time we wish to confine it to our own staff members. In future, when we go for one more thing like this, we will keep it open to others also, she said. See, I appreciate the approach of the college in organizing an elaborate FDP involving, you see, such a resource persons as Pingal sir, Gauri Devastale, Pish Pahade sir, Kangudi sir, and others for the enlightenment of the teachers. That speaks a lot about the principles, vision, and also the college management's commitment to the cause of higher education. What does the vision for India's higher education system say? It says there is a need to increase employment opportunities in order to meet the requirements of fourth industrial revolution. Fourth industrial revolution is a phase wherein there will be a domination of technology, use of computers, decision making, and the people will have to train themselves to such a level as to be able to use computers, even in colleges or even in working environments. But will it be enough if you have computer knowledge and if you are able to maneuver computers? No. It also speaks about well-rounded creative individuals. Creativity, without creativity, there is no progress. What does well-rounded stand for? Well-rounded, you see, social, emotional, intellectual skills, people skills are to be inculcated in the individuals for being a well-rounded individual. It should develop well-rounded creative individuals and with economic independence. Even with all your degrees, achievements, if you are dependent on someone else, you see, you will not be able to succeed in life. That kind of economic independence should be there. And it says in the third point, 9.1.3, education is not just for employment, it is also for progressive and prosperous nation. Several people keep commenting India is a backward nation. Is it true? We have to ask ourselves. If it is true, in which areas are we backward? Education says this 9.1.3 point, not just for employment, it is also for making the country a progressive and a prosperous, rich nation. Some major problems troubling the higher education system. It is severely fragmented. Look at the picture on the right side, broken tile. More than 50,000 institutions, most are commercial. See, it leads a lot of audacity. You cannot talk against the central government, the powerful central government. You can't say anything against it. But the document, vision document, NEP 2020 clearly says the authors have enunciated this clearly, not in any vague terms. They said, you see, there are almost 50,000 institutions. Most are not for service, not for education, but for commercial desires. And they also agreed, you see, spelled it so clearly. No education is taking place in these educational institutions. 50,000 commercial institutions, education is not taking place. And poor learning outcomes and skills of students. In some areas, if you ask a student, what did you learn? What have you gained from your degree? What are you able to do? They'll not be able to open their mouth. That is the situation prevalent in India, as the report says. And there is a separation of disciplines. There used to be arts college, there used to be science college, there used to be commerce colleges. Your college, I know, arts, science, and commerce college. But the disciplines have been separated. Lack of access. People are not able to go to colleges. I think, you see, yours is college is also situated in one of the socio-economically disadvantaged regions of perhaps Maharashtra. Lack of teacher and institutional autonomy to innovate and excel. Pingal sir was making a reference to this. Need for individual teachers to develop themselves and use those practices to do away with the outmoded syllabus and change, innovate. Innovation is always for achieving excellence. That is what we should do. There are other issues also. We are look at the picture on the right side. We are lost in the present scenario. We are confused. We are not sure. We are unclear. We are perplexed. We are disoriented. We are bewildered. This is the kind of situation as is existing in the higher education scenario today. Inadequate mechanisms for merit-based career management and progression of faculty. If an individual is not identified on the basis of his merit and commitment, you see, he'll be a disgruntled or she will be a disgruntled person. So the mechanisms as they exist today are not sufficient. Career management and progression of faculty is not given the importance that is required to be given. And lack of research and funding across disciplines. Sciences, perhaps they have much funding, but arts and commerce, not much funding. Poor governance and leadership of HEIs, higher education institutions. We need leaders. We need visionaries as the principals. We need to see leaders in the seat of the principal. They have to guide and direct the higher education system, institutions towards progress. And then the regulatory system, the affiliating system, maybe the government, regulatory system not empowered. They do not have the power to close fake colleges. There are colleges only on paper. They do not have the infrastructure, they do not have teachers, they do not have the other requirements that a college is supposed to have. They are paper colleges as we know, but the regulatory system, the university or the government, they are not empowered. They do not have the capacity or the right to close down these colleges. How sad it is to know the central government accepted this report. That is what I was saying in the beginning. You see, the report is a courageous document at the existing situation prevalent throughout the country, and the government also admits that it is really so. And then there are large affiliating universities. Earlier there used to be almost 900, 700, 800 colleges affiliated to university. Do you think that such kind of universities will be able to go and inspect any of these colleges in any year? May not be. There is a proposal now, you see, to limit the number of colleges to 300 for each university. As on date, there are still universities with affiliated colleges ranging from 500 to 700. There are large affiliating universities. The result is poor undergraduate education in colleges, and nobody bothers to check. Nobody has the time to check also. So the policy vision, key changes to the current system. Multidisciplinary universities and colleges, at least one in every district, they are thinking of setting up. Multidisciplinary, not confined to one single discipline, not science, not arts, not commerce, but multidisciplinary universities and also colleges. And then UG education will also be multidisciplinary, not exclusively for science, arts, or commerce in an isolated manner. Then faculty and institutions will be given autonomy. In course of the slides, you will come across a slide wherein you will see that all colleges will have to be become autonomous, you see, by a given date. Then existing curriculum will have to be restructured, revamped. The pedagogy or the teaching methodologies will also have to be revamped. Assessment methods also have to be revamped, and student support also has to be looked into. These are some of the areas where organizational structural changes have to be brought in. Curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and the supporting of students. And when you recruit a teacher, you should recruit them only on the basis of merit. Merit appointments and career progression based only on teaching, research, and service. So if you want to get promoted from assistant professor to associate professor, associate to professor, then you'll have to be assessed on the basis of your teaching, on the basis of your research temperament, on the basis of your service. These are some of the things outlined. It continues. The policy vision, key changes to the current system. What are the changes that are envisaged in the policy? It is time for change. In 2020, in the middle of 2020, this has been accepted, and the government, central government, recognized this. Several state governments have also accepted NEP 2020. Higher education, education basically falls under the concurrent subject. The central government cannot unilaterally take a decision. It has to be in consultation with the state government also. So there is a the ripe time for change of the existing system of education, and what are the things that are going to be brought in. A national research foundation will be started to fund research, higher education institution governance by independent boards without being under the influence of state governments or MLAs or MPs or perhaps the universities. They'll be governed by independent boards with academic and administrative autonomy, broadly following the guidelines of UGC. Because choice-based credit system is the outcome-based education, all these things, and the affiliating university which gives you permission to run programs, maybe arts programs, science programs, or commerce programs, or skill development programs, whatever. But in spite of that, you see, colleges will also be permitted to innovate, have academic autonomy in addition to administrative autonomy. There will be regulations, no problem, but they'll be light, not very tight. A single regulator for all of higher ed professional education. I wish it would come to reality very soon, because today we have to go to the intermediate board if you have a +2 education, then to the university, the state government, the state council of higher education, then you have to go to the UGC, and if you have a funding from RUSA, you'll have to meet RUSA officials. If you have any courses like MBA or MCA, you have to go to AICTE. All these will be time consuming. Ask your principal, see what kind of administrative problems, hiccups he has been facing. They will all be solved if what the document says comes to reality. A light but tight regulation, there will be only a single regulator for all of higher and professional education agencies also. Then increased access, scholarships for disadvantaged and underprivileged students to enable them to come to college, even if they cannot afford to do so. These are some of the points that we have seen. Point number 9 covered in perhaps half an hour. What are the existing conditions prevailing today, and what are the changes that are contemplated by the document and accepted by the central government? I have a question now. See, am I audible? Anyone can unmute yourself and say so.
Yes, sir, you are audible to all of us.
Okay, principal, sir, thank you. Then institutional restructuring and consolidation. Starting large multidisciplinary universities and colleges and HEI clusters like or IQAC cluster perhaps, to build vibrant communities of scholars and peers. Scholars engaged in research, peers equals, and increase resource efficiency. But for the cluster, the webinars that have taken place throughout the last 2 years, in 19 there were some, but 2021 you see tremendous progress and a large number of webinars you see supported by IQAC cluster and the resource person, thanks to the visionary leadership of IQAC cluster, have taken place throughout the length and breadth of India. These clusters will be able to build vibrant communities of scholars and peers, and resource efficiency will be derived. Success of large multidisciplinary research universities is expected. As part of institutional restructuring and consolidation, higher education system shall have high quality teaching, not just reading a book, not just asking students to take notes and reproduce the notes. No, higher education system shall have high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. These are some of the things. Why does a student come to the college? A student definitely comes to the college to gather some kind of knowledge for a program, as part of an arts program, science program, or a commerce program. But how do you know if he is able to gather knowledge in that particular area? You will be able to know if he is able to communicate. So a student comes to college for knowledge, and then a student, whether he is able to communicate the knowledge, can be assessed by his communication skills. Then is it enough if a student has knowledge and communication skills? No. Is the student in a position to have analytical skills of what has been taught to him? Well, then the student is supposed to be trained in that kind of analytical temper also. For knowledge, for communication skill, for developing analytical temper, he comes to the college. And then global perspectives. We are not living in isolation. No man is an island. We are living in a global village wherein we are supposed to train ourselves and also our students to meet the requirements of global employers, the global conglomerates. So a student comes to college for knowledge, for communication skills, acquiring communication skills, analytical skills, and to have global perspectives. Is this enough? No. We have to give back something to the society. Social responsible action. These are the 5 things for which we have to work for. That is point 10.3. Higher education system shall have high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. And what do the research universities do? They will focus on research. Teaching universities to which we are affiliated place emphasis on teaching. They will also be asked to conduct significant, meaningful research. All colleges to become autonomous. Is this an autonomous college? No. Is J.A.T college autonomous now?
No, sir, this is not autonomous college. It is
Okay, right.
affiliated college.
It's an affiliated college. Okay, right. All colleges to become autonomous, which are large multidisciplinary institutions, primarily on undergraduate teaching. A college shall be an autonomous degree granting institution or a constituent college of a university. So what exactly is autonomy? Autonomy is the desire to be self-directed, as you look at the figure on the right side. HEAs will have autonomy to move from one category to another. If they want to be part of the college clusters, okay. If they want to be affiliated to a university, okay. Or if they want to move to autonomy, it's okay. They can go from one category to another. Expectations of quality of education across all categories of HEA will be same. You sometimes hear people saying to NAAC, people saying to inspection teams, sir, we are a rural college, we are an urban college, we are a college funded by government, we are a self-financed college, we are in a tribal area. So don't think, see, our students will be like this or our teachers will be like that. No. Expectations of quality as far as the agencies are concerned will be the same across all categories of HEAs. HEAs to support other HEAs in development, community engagement and service and support to school education. If Pingle sir is there, you see, he knows Paramar scheme, wherein colleges which got A plus or more have been given, you see, grant by University Grants Commission to handhold other unaccredited, non-accredited colleges to guide them towards accreditation. Some money has been given. So higher education institutions have to support other HEAs in development, community engagement and service, and they also have to support school education. Why should we support school education? Because it is from the schools that our students come. If we train the teachers better in schools, they will also train their students better, so that the products which come to the colleges or universities will be of a better caliber. By 2040, now we are in 2022, all HEI shall become multidisciplinary with thousands of student enrollments. The central government, on the recommendations of this committee, is thinking of enhancing the gross enrollment ratio from the present state to 50% by 2030. In 8 years, please bear in mind, my friends, in 8 years, is somebody trying to ask me a question? I am able to hear some conversation. Is somebody trying to ask a question? Some conversation is going on in the background. I'm not able. Somebody raising a question.
Sir, I have muted all the participants.
Principal sir, am I audible now?
Sir, I am not the principal. I am IQAC coordinator of the
Okay,
college.
whoever is the.
This time you are audible now, sir.
Okay, right. So when you mute others, kindly give me permission to present. Okay, increasing gross enrollment ratio to 50% by 2030. We are in 2022. In the last 72 years of India being a republic, the gross enrollment ratio before this presentation, I verified it has arrived to 29%. 29% existing gross enrollment ratio. The government, central government wishes to enhance it to 50% in 8 years. In 8 years, it wishes to enhance the gross enrollment ratio. How do they go about it? We'll look at it as we move ahead. More higher education institutions in underserved regions. The gross enrollment ratio in higher and vocational education to increase from 26.3, that was the old figure in 2018, it is 29% now, to 50% by 2030. Capacity creation will be done, increasing GER will be done by consolidating the existing institutions, expanding the facilities, and also improving existing HEIs. This is what 10.8 says. Is growth in both public and private institutions. It will be fair and transparent. It says fair and transparent system for public funding. As far as funding is concerned, it will be fair, reasonable, and just and transparent. Support for quality public HEIs. That is why we have to go for quality sustenance initiatives. And your FDP, I think, is one of the initiatives for developing the quality of teachers and the quality of teaching and the quality of the institution too. Support for quality public HEIs is envisaged as 10.9. All institutions may run open distance learning if accredited to do so. We are not concerned about that. Then single stream HEIs will become multidisciplinary. There are colleges for arts and science and commerce. They will not be like that anymore. All HEIs will move to full autonomy. That's what I was making a reference to. You are not autonomous as on date. And there was a condition. I do not know how NEP 2020, the central government and the UGC will be able to synchronize and bring all colleges into autonomous status, because there is a condition that only A grade colleges will be given autonomy. We do not know what is going to happen. All HEIs will move to full autonomy, not only academic but also administrative. Quality private institutions will also be encouraged. 10.12, empowerment of and autonomy to innovate, be original, creative. In 15 years, now this was accepted in 2020, in 15 years means by 2035, affiliated colleges will be phased out through a graded system of autonomy. No mere simple affiliated college, there will be autonomous college. Existing affiliating university will be responsible for mentoring its affiliated college. You have mentors in your college, 35 teachers or 40 teachers you have guiding your students, perhaps 1:20, 1:25. I do not know the number of students you have, but similarly, as we have mentors for students, the universities will also mentor the colleges and guide them in the proper direction. Maximum number of colleges affiliated by a university not to exceed 300. How can this be done? More universities will have to come. One in each district. One in each district will not also be enough, because by 2030, in 8 years, gross enrollment ratio as envisaged says it will rise from the existing 29% as in the month of January this year to 50%. So how many universities will have to come? How many colleges will have to come? Will they be funded by government? Will they be autonomous? Will they be permitted to operate, you see, from accommodations existing? All these are questions that you have to look into. All affiliated colleges to be accredited in autonomous colleges. Again and again making a reference to that. accreditation is compulsory. In spite of the orders of NAAC, in spite of the directions from the central government, not many universities, I don't say private affiliated colleges, self-financed college, minority institutions, Christian missionary institutions, Muslim minority institutions, all these, not those. Even government has not directed, it has not been able to direct its own universities to go for accreditation. That is the system prevailing. So how can the government in the prevailing condition force colleges and universities to get accredited? Then 10.13, integration of all, bringing together all higher education into one higher education system, including professional vocational education. No separate professional college, no separate vocational colleges hereafter. Everything will be integrated. The present complex nomenclature of HEIs, higher education institution in the country, as deemed to be university, affiliating university, and so on and so forth, will be replaced only by one single word. It will be only a university. And towards a more holistic education, look at this STEM, or use of science, technology, engineering, and maths. India's tradition of holistic and multidisciplinary learning must be brought back. When the other nations in the world did not have any formal system of education, we had in India, in Takshashila, Nalanda, and another places, wonderful tradition of holistic man-making education that will have to be brought back into the existing system. That is what the document says. UG education in humanities and arts to be integrated with STEM or science, technology, engineering, and maths for positive learning outcomes. Arts education for well-rounded individuals with 21st century capacities. Engineering will also move to holistic education with more arts and humanities. What are the recommendations trying to do? Merging, bringing together, cohesion, arts, commerce, technical education, science, technology, engineering, and maths, all these things will be brought together, just as we used to have in Nalanda, Takshashila, trying to make students well-rounded persons, innovative, and having a responsible action, social participation, and they should also be in a way, they'll also get education in a manner in which they will be, it will be possible for them to have independent growth, lead a healthy life, imbibing the spirit of humanities. And for all these things, they should know, they should learn how to learn. Students should learn how to learn. That is what is envisaged by the document. A well-rounded person, who is a well-rounded person with 21st century skills, as the document speaks. He should have critical thinking. He should be able to communicate. He should be a citizen and take the responsibilities of every citizen. And he should be creative. He should have a growth mindset, and he should be prepared to collaborate with others. A well-rounded person is someone who is skilled, capable, or knowledgeable in a lot of different things, or something that covers a lot of different areas or subjects. An example of a well-rounded person is someone who is good in studies, perhaps plays sports, and has a good relationship with his family. Well, point number 11 continued. Towards a more holistic education, imaginative, flexible curricular structures, multiple entry and exit points are removing rigid boundaries. You also must have heard about the academic bank of credits. Did anyone listen to this ABC? Academic Bank of Credits. Pahade sir was delivering a lecture last week or last fortnight on Academic Bank of Credits. As the system exists today, if one student leaves the college after second semester, he will be given a TC saying that he discontinued. If he leaves the college after fourth semester, he says the TC says discontinued after second year. But now the system has suggested changes, flexible curricular structures, multiple entry and exit points, and remove the existing rigid boundaries. And it also speaks about high quality arts education, the flexible curriculum, less by-hearting. What do we mean by rote learning? By-hearting, memorizing. Emphasis on communication. It is not enough if you come to college. You should be able to speak back and interdisciplinary thinking. You should not ever say, no, I am an art student. I do not know how to replace a fuse wire. No, I am an art student. I do not know how to manage my own expenditure. No, an art student should also have knowledge about other things, interdisciplinary thinking. Then there will be new departments, credit-based courses in community engagement and service. Doing something for the society from where you have come is going to be a credit course and it will be taken up in the curriculum. Environmental education, Pingle sir must have touched it, and value-based education, or perhaps tomorrow and day after you will also listen to other resource persons who will speak about the preservation of environment and value-based education, wherein we have to abide by the values in society. Internship with local industry, training. You must have developed some kind of MOUs with software companies, industries, laboratories, for training of your students. Internships with local industry, businesses, and artists also to students for practical side of learning and employability. Hands-on experience will also be assured. Towards a more holistic education continued. UG program either 3 or 4 year duration, you see the new changes that are being assured. Multiple exit options with appropriate certifications. I told you earlier about this. 4-year bachelor's program leads to degree with research, a preferred option. You see, the University Grants Commission has also released a very recently, last week, a draft agreement, draft document on the scope and the issues related to 4-year degree and what it entails. Now, the first year will be, if one discontinues after first year of study, it will be called a certificate. A student can obtain a certificate after completing 1 year, a diploma after completing 2 years, a bachelor's degree after 3-year program, academic bank of credit to digitally store the academic credits. But don't worry, you see, your colleges are not supposed to look at it as on date, because it is first to be taken up by the university, and the university to which you are affiliated will ask you at an appropriate time to undertake this kind of work on how to digitalize the inputs from your college relating to your students' pursuit of a degree of study. Towards more holistic education, it also speaks about different master's programs in point number 11.10. A 2-year program, second year devoted to research for those who completed a 3-year bachelor program. After a 4-year degree with research, there could be 1-year master's program. There may be an integrated 5 years bachelor's master's program. There were questions, see, when the document was released. Will you be able to complete a PG degree within 4 years? No. The document makes clear. Point number 11.10. 4 years degree may be there, but in order to make it a PG degree, you'll have to pursue PG education for 1 more year. Undertaking a PhD requires a master's degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree with research. And as you all know, the MPhil program has been discontinued. Point number 11 continues. Multidisciplinary education and research universities will be set up. They are called by this abbreviation, MERUs. They should be on par with IITs, IIMs, etc. This is a candid question. I request someone to say yes or no. Just say yes or no when I ask the question. Are our colleges on par with IITs, IIMs, the affiliated colleges? Be frank and don't answer me. You see, turn to your friend or department member, whoever is sitting by your side, and tell them whether our institutions as on date are equal to IITs or IIMs. The definite answer would be no. So there is a vision to start multidisciplinary education and research universities at par with IITs, and IIMs to be set up, and they should be in a position to reach global status. Then there is focus on research and innovation, startup and incubation. technology development, frontier areas research centers, industry, academic linkages, interdisciplinary and humanities, social sciences research. I request you see, now Sunetra madam has this PPT. You can use it. There is no intellectual property right involved, IPR involved. This is prepared from the downloaded document of the 65-page NEP 2020 released by central government. Look at point number 11.12 in your IQAC. You say you are the IQAC coordinator. Ask your friends to tick. Do you have research and innovation, startup and incubation, technology development, frontier areas of research, industry, academic linkages, industry, academic linkages? Do you have interdisciplinary and humanities, social sciences research on our date? We do not have all these things. So we have to change the existing system of education so as to make it reach global standards and reach IIMs and IITs which are existing on date. Optimal learning environments and what kind of support you are going to extend to students. Look at point number 12. For a student to be an effective learner, what is he required to learn? He needs to have a relevant curriculum. He should be assessed continuously to see whether he is able to follow it. Adequate support, student support should be there. Regularly updated curriculum for specified learning outcomes. If you still want to study what your father, grandfather, and great-grandfather studied, it is not enough. So curriculum should be updated from time to time, and high-quality pedagogy. Pedagogy is nothing but simple teaching approaches, teaching methods. Do you have high-quality pedagogy? Scientific assessment methods. Whether the paper written by your student is evaluated in your college or Sangamner College or Akkineni Nageswara College, Gudivada, you should be in a position to get the same kind of marks if the assessment is perfect, objective, scientific. High quality pedagogy, scientific assessment methods, and development of capacities for high quality learning. This is what is required for optimal learning and supporting students. It is continued. Special programs for gifted students. There are, you all know, gifted students in each class, in each college, in each section, in each class you take. There should be special programs in order to encourage, motivate, support gifted students to complete programs on fast track mode. Most of you have some relatives or friends abroad. You all know that the 2-year PG program can be completed in 1.5 years or 15 months or sometimes 12 months by gifted students if they are capable of completing the credits and the papers that they are required to appear for. So can we also have the same kind of system for gifted students so that they can complete their programs on a fast track method? This is 12.2. Then autonomy to institutions, faculty to innovate on curriculum. Do we rigidly follow the guidelines of the University Grants Commission, State Council of Higher Education, and the affiliated university boards of studies, or can we innovate on the curriculum? Curriculum is not confined to the syllabus that is prescribed for a program. The teaching approaches and methodologies, all these that are followed by a college is seen as part of the curriculum that we have. Institutions and faculty should have the autonomy to innovate on curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. Then opportunity should be there for funding activities which are organized by students. Do we support students who organize programs by giving them money? This is the basic question that is asked. I do not know if your college has, and faculty to act as mentors and guides. We have been doing that for quite some time. All assessment systems should be decided by the higher education institution. What type of assessments do you have? You have a formative assessment, as the teacher goes to the class and teachers asking questions, trying to assess if the students are able to understand, if he's going on a fast pace, if they are able to comprehend what is taught in perhaps English medium, Urdu medium, Telugu medium, or whatever, Hindi medium. And then That is formative assessment. Then summative assessment is a written examinations, maybe internal examination, perhaps lab work, or a semester end examination. In addition to formative and summative assessment, there is a diagnostic assessment to see. Sometimes you conduct a slip test. Sometimes you conduct internal assessments. Sometimes you conduct a surprise test, a diagnostic assessment to find out if the students are able to follow what you have been saying. So all assessment systems to be decided by the HEI. Choice-based credit system or CBCS will have a room for creativity and flexibility. HEI has to move away from high-stakes examination towards more continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Some engineering colleges have been doing this. Even if the student at some point of time is unable to come to the examination, the final semester, his performance will be assessed on the basis of the internals and the previous examination, and he will be given some grade. So there should not be rigid boundaries, but a continuous comprehensive evaluation of the performance of the student. That is point number 12.4. Now, support for students continues. Funds and academic support to socio-economically disadvantaged students. Funds and socio-economic support, economic support to socio-economically disadvantaged students. Professional counseling, academic counseling, and career counseling to all students. Open and distance learning programs to be equivalent to quality in class programs. This is easily said than done. Do you agree? This is very easily said than done. Sometimes you see, if you complete a degree by distance mode, maybe your UG or PG, or perhaps the MPhil, which is not being continued anymore, maybe research, you see, will they be equivalent to quality in class program? That is a question that you have to ask. But the NEP 2020 envisages that it should be of the same caliber. All programs to achieve global standards of quality with internationally relevant curricula. What you are studying in Sangamner or Gudivada or Malegaon should not be limited for use in the respective places. No, it should be relevant to curricula internationally, and it should attract international students in India. The curriculum should be of such nature that it attracts people from abroad. Mobility to Indian students to carry out research abroad. In addition to completing his or her degree or PG, they should be in a position to, our students should be given a chance to pursue their research elsewhere, outside the country also. Internationalization. Premium education at affordable cost. Can anyone answer this question? You see, kindly unmute them, you see, and request them not to talk, you see, while the host is delivering the lecture. I just want to ask one question. One question. Internationalization. Can I ask the question?
Yes, sir. Kindly go ahead.
Yeah. Anyone, you see, let me see who answers it first. Very easy question. A bitter war is going in Europe between two countries, erstwhile brothers. And most of our students from India went there to pursue one education, one degree. What degree is it?
MBBS, sir.
Who answered, may I know?
This is Munawar Ahmed, the
Yes.
same IQAC coordinator.
Right. Kindly give 100 rupees to your wife for being able to answer it so well and so promptly, so quickly. She'll be happy. My husband was very quick to answer, and if he keeps answering every day to the questions put by other resource persons, I'll be getting 100 rupees.
Thank you for the laudatory words, sir.
Okay, right. Medical education. Internationalization. Premium education at affordable costs. High performing universities to set up campuses in other countries. Some of our private universities have campuses in Gulf. World universities from top 100 list to be permitted to operate in India. What kind of effect is this going to be? The country is going to have. If the top 100 universities from abroad come and set shops or start universities in our state, what will happen to our colleges and universities? Will we flourish? Do we have to close down? I'll ask you another question, simpler, easier. Do you have D-Mart, Reliance stores, or Flipkart stores, or best price stores, you see, in various parts of the country? Are they coming in the way of local traders? Yes,
No,
sir.
sir, they are not.
They are not spoiling the chances of the local trading community?
I think they don't have.
Okay, whatever. And now look at this. If foreign universities, the top 100 universities, as announced by the World University Rankings, they come and start universities in India, will it have some kind of effect on the existing colleges? That's point number one. You do not have to answer me. There is no 100 rupees. So you do not have to answer me. Answer yourself. Will it have adverse impact, or will our colleges and universities try to compete with them and improve their own level? This is something that we will have to think about. Research collaboration and student exchanges with the global institution. This is in consonance with the earlier points. Our students will be permitted to continue their research elsewhere also. That's what earlier we have seen. Credits acquired in foreign universities become counted for award of a degree. So it is flexible, competitive, and wants to bring in new talent, you see, from outside. And what we have to do is to analyze if we are able to compete with the foreign universities and survive. Then student participation in sports, culture, arts, activity, community service, etc. Counseling system in all HAs. Even today, in the NAAC SSR, weightage is given not for the academic ranks or gold medals that the student has scored, but for teams which have excelled in sports, culture, arts, etc. are given weightage. Counseling system in all HEIs for benefit of students, support to rural and small town students, increase in hostel and medical facility for all students to be involved in decision-making bodies. The IQAC coordinator knows. We have members in sports committee. We have members in IQAC, student members. We have members in discipline committee. We have members in library committee. We have members in women development cell, student members. We have also perhaps members in green brigade and so on and so forth. So support to rural and small town students, increase in hostel and medical facility to all, and students to be involved in decision-making bodies. HE has to be more responsive to feedback and student needs. Whatever the students have answered in the semester-wise feedback or the annual feedback, it has to be analyzed and it has to be attended to. That is what this says. Students' feedback to be obtained and the needs are to be met. Financial support for students. Expanded national scholarship portal for comprehensive financial support. And private HEIs will be encouraged to offer larger number of friendships and scholarships to their students. One more question. Is there any private college you see in your area in Malegaon?
What college, sir?
Do you have a private self-financed college in Malegaon?
There are, sir.
Okay. How are they collecting fee? Are they offering scholarship, free ships like you do? Government scholarships or free ships do they provide? This is a question. And the document says they will be asked, the private institutions will be asked to encourage you to offer larger number of free ships and scholarships to their students. Then you have to have motivated, energized and capable faculty. Na guru na shishya. Without a capable teacher, there cannot be any capable student. Faculty recruitment, career progression, etc. will be methodical, systematic. They'll have professional development opportunities and their increased compensation. Can anyone tell me what does it mean? Increased compensation. Very easily said. Good salary. revision of salary from time to time. Low faculty motivation will be addressed. If there are people who are drawing good money and not responding to the needs of the college, needs of the students, they'll be taken to task. So the low faculty motivation will be addressed. They work for advancing students, for the institution, for a profession. Don't worry. The principals and the managements do not have to worry. The NEP 2020 clearly spells it out. If a teacher doesn't perform his duty or her duty, he or she will be taken to task. Remember point 13.1. HEI infrastructure to be improved using latest technology for better learning experience, and the teacher training as student ratio from 1.10 to 1.20. May not be possible always. It's an ideal situation. In some colleges, you see, 1:30, 1:40. As far as languages are concerned, you see, the teacher-student ratio will be very high. I think it's Sunatra madam will be able to answer that. Teaching duties allow time for interaction with students. So the maximum teaching time should be limited to perhaps 20 periods or 20 hours as per the recommendation of the university or the state government or perhaps the UGC. You should also have time to interact with students, research and other university activities. Faculty will not be transferable across institutions. In government colleges, people are transferred from one place to another. In private aided colleges also, sometimes if the management is the same, they are transferred from one place to another, which should not take place, says the committee. Motivated, energized and capable faculty. Faculty to design curricular and pedagogical approaches for innovative teaching and research and service. They are giving, you see, a lot of importance to faculty who are supposed to design their own curricular and pedagogical approaches, how they are going to deliver their curriculum for innovative, creative teaching, research and service. Rewards, promotions and recognition for excellence. Non-performance will be held to account. Rewards should be there. See, a good word, a certificate, a medal perhaps, a small incentive is a motivating factor. Rewards, promotions and recognition for excellence. Non-performance will be taken to task. Transparent recruitment process. So no nepotism, no recommendation, no corruption. Probation period should be there. Assessment includes peer and student reviews. When you are analyzing the performance of a teacher, they will be looking at what the students are saying, what his own colleagues, her own colleagues are saying. Innovations in teaching and impact of research, professional development, etc. will also be looked at. Then leadership position shall not remain vacant. Very easily said. Very easily said. Is it possible? There are colleges where the principal post lies vacant for quite some time. So the recommendations say it will not be like that for a longer period. I'll be rushing through. Equity and inclusion in higher education. Equity is different from equality. Equality is giving 10 rupees to all. Suppose I need 20 rupees. If you give me 20 rupees, that is equity. Equity takes into consideration the need, whereas equality distributes on the same level. Equitable access to quality education. Emphasis of socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Not starting colleges only in urban areas where there is a need. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups are there. There should be more colleges. Equity and inclusion across school and higher education. And very important point, 14.3, lack of knowledge of opportunities, cost of pursuing higher education, financial constraints, admission processes, language barriers, student support mechanisms will be addressed. If a student is not able to understand what he wishes to know about the college, all these things will be taken into consideration and addressed. The steps to be taken by governments, central and state governments, budgets to be increased, targets for increasing the GER, gender balance. Yours is, I think it's only an exclusive women's educational institution, no? Only for women, no? This college is?
Yes, sir. This is women's college.
Right. Enhanced access and support to HEAs that teach in local language. Do you use Urdu medium also, sir?
Yes, sir. In our campus, there are many units that run.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am happy to know. More financial assistance and scholars to students, outreach on HE opportunities, scholarships, technology tools, and so on and so forth. What are the steps to be taken by all HEAs? Reduce the fee, more financial assistance, outreach of opportunities, admissions and curriculum to be inclusive, increase in employability potential. It is not enough if a student comes to the college, learns something, gets a degree and goes out. He should be employable. Opportunities for that should be increased. More courses in Indian languages, Divyangan friendly facilities, bridge courses, all these things are included here. I'll skip this point. Teacher education, yours is not a teacher education college, but I'll touch upon one important point. Teacher education to be grounded in Indian values, because it is from this teacher education institution that we get our students to colleges. And reimagining vocational education. Vocational education. There is an urgent need for spreading vocational education, wherein we have the people who do what all you require in every day. Mechanics, you see, decorators, people from workshops, and cooks, perhaps operators of your cars, and cameraman, whatever you say. Any technical expertise comes from vocational education. Lack of vertical mobility of vocational students will be addressed through NSQF, National Skills Qualification Framework. So any problems existing in vocational education will be tackled. And Lok Vidya, or knowledge developed in India. Look at point number 16.5 and the letters in red. By 2025, at least 50% of learners to have exposure to vocational education. BVOC, Bachelor of Vocational Education, funded by UGC, will continue, and it will be integrated in all education institutions, and there will be more number of incubation centers in partnership with industries. Industry academia linkage has been enunciated by NEP 2020, accepted by the central government and state governments. And Indian standards should be aligned with international standards. Whatever we learn in India should be useful and applicable abroad. Then coming to point number 17, knowledge creation and research for growing and sustaining a large, vibrant economy. It is not enough if our students are educated. They should try to bring about a change in the economy of the country. How we do about it is explained in this. Promoting high quality research also, and sustaining a large and vibrant economy. To be a leader, India requires expansion of research capabilities and outputs. Research and innovation investment in India is 0.69% of GDP. It is to be increased. No one comes and says, I'm doing everything wrong. Even if somebody comes and says you are doing something wrong, the people will not accept. But the funny thing about this Kasturangan committee, and it has pointed out in 17.3, see, look at what we are spending on research and innovation. It is only 0.069 or 0.07. 0.7 of GDP on research and innovation. And the central government meekly says, yes, we are not able to increase it. They have to increase it somehow or the other for research and innovation. High quality interdisciplinary research in arts and humanities needed for addressing societal challenges. If you want to make changes, bring about progress in the nation, science okay. But arts and humanities, unless you bring about change, the people in the society will not be changed. That is why arts and science also will have to be changed with the research and innovation. Innovations in science and social science is extremely important. Research and innovation occur in environments where a strong culture of research and knowledge creation exists. I go to colleges wherein you see that academic ambience can be seen, academic environment can be seen. You see, the teaching learning process is so vibrant. In some classes, you see, maybe language classes, maybe Urdu classes, Hindi classes, Sanskrit classes, English classes, where when a teacher sings, when a teacher recites a poem, all the students recite with her and with him. You see, you have goosebumps. The experience percolates, you see, is transferred from the teacher to the students and to the onlooker also. That kind of innovation approach is required in teaching. Research and innovations occur in an environment where there is a strong research culture and knowledge creation exists. But it also occurs in multidisciplinary university settings. So we have to invest a lot of money on research. Schools also to expose students to research. A national research foundation will be set up to promote research, to fund competitive peer-reviewed grant proposals, and act as a liaison between researchers and government and industry. It will also produce expert reports to guide teachers and academic institutions for research. And transforming the regulatory system of higher education institutions. As on date, whatever system we have, it will also be transformed. Regulation of higher education will be completely revised, overhauled. A regulatory system will be taken up by distinct, independent and empowered bodies. A Higher Education Commission of India will be set up, first vertical of HECA. This point number 18 speaks about reorganization of all the existing systems. Ministry of MHRD will also be changed to Ministry of Education, and NAAC, NAAC will become NAC. 1A will be dropped. All these things are talked about in this point number 18. The various verticals of Higher Education Council of India, the General Education Council, National Higher Education Qualification Framework, NHEQF, and all these are talked about. Then you have in 18.7, you have professional standard setting bodies, PSSBs, like education, ICAR. Look at Education Council for Agricultural Research, Veterinary Council of India or VCI, National Council for Teacher Education, NCTE. They will also be invited to be a member of General Education Council. They would only be recommendatory in nature. They have no regulatory role. Responsibility and accountability shall be delegated to HEIs. You are, as a college, asked to be responsible for the conduct of your teachers and your students and the outcomes. Responsibility and accountability shall be delegated to HUAs. No distinction in expectations between public and private HUAs. Sometimes they say, we are from a government institution. No, you cannot expect us to be on par with the private institution where they teach better, they have better students. You can't say a foot rule has only 30 centimeters or 12 inches. Whether it is used in a private institution or in a government institution, it has only 12 inches and 30 centimeters. Similarly, expectations from the students and outcomes of students shall be equal, whether they are in a private academic institution or a public funded academic institution. Such a transformation requires existing structures and the institution to reinvent themselves and undergo evolution of sorts. So no variation, no change in expectations of education, whether you are public or private funded. All these things are continued, transforming the regulatory system of higher education, the various organizations, setting up new quality HAs will be made easier, 18.11. Those performing well will be helped by central and state government. Public and private partnership will be promoted in HE. Not for just bridges, not for laying roads. Even in education, public and private partnership will be assured. All HEAs, public and private, are treated on par. Encouragement for private philanthropic efforts. Look at the government, tongue-in-cheek attitude. Private players will be encouraged to be very philanthropic or be generous, donate. Elimination of commercialization. Can this be done? Minimal guidelines to establish private HAs. So what are they looking for? Good governance, financial stability, security, educational outcomes, and transparency of disclosures. In all these, please remember that particular word, educational outcomes. Have you mapped student outcomes, program outcomes, course outcomes? You must have done those. So, and have you been doing is the attainment of course outcomes, program outcomes? Well, I do not know. So educational outcomes are very important. Effective governance and leadership of higher education institutions, effective governance and leadership, culture of excellence, innovation, merit-based appointment of institutional leaders. Who are the institutional leaders? Maybe HODs, maybe lecturers, but particularly the principal. Graded accreditation and autonomy in 15 years by 2035 to everyone. All HEIs to become independent, self-governing. They will be governed by a BOG. All leadership positions, 19.4, kindly look at it. I'm just hurrying. To persons with high academic qualifications, administrative and leadership capability. When my father was serving as the vice principal of a college, a third-class postgraduate was brought in by the management and appointed as the principal in charge. My father protested and resigned. And with him came out 7 or 8 people, senior teachers, who protested, saying a third-class postgraduate cannot be kept as the principal. And if you wish to continue, we do not want to be part of these academic institutions. So here, what does it say? It says people with professional high academic qualification will be chosen for administrative and leadership positions. Their selection will be by BOGs. And what does HEI be committed to? HEI is to be committed to excellence, engagement with local communities, highest standards of financial probity. See, objective, financially, they should be very clear, and accountability. Whoever asks, they should be answered about financial transactions or should be accountable. The BOG will have an institutional development plan. Then point number 20 deals with professional education, maybe medicos, pharmacy students, or technical students, engineers, and so on and so forth. It also speaks about adult education and lifelong learning. Your NSS students or even your college must have adopted 2 or 3 communities in the neighborhood and trying to teach the elderly people on how to read and write. This is a responsibility of the colleges as existing. And there will be also incentives for promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture, and preservation of Indian cultural wealth is a high priority, says point number 22. Coming to 23, technology use in day-to-day administration of the college is needed, and it has to be increased and integrated in all our functioning modes. We are reaching a time wherein the 4th industrial revolution has set in. You see, the very first point, 9.1, made a reference to it. Technology use and integration with all the activities that we take up in the college are envisaged by NEP 2020. India is a global leader in ICT, information communication technology, and technology has a great impact in many ways. It requires research on technological and educational fronts. All these things are touched upon on the use of technology use. A National Educational Technology Forum will be started with functions which are outlined. So attention also, look at point number 23.7 in red, bold, underlined. Red, bold, and underlined, 23.7. Attention need to be paid to emerging disruptive technology. I was invited to attend in a D.Ed college, a discussion on use of technology by school students and what kind of adverse impact it will have on students. Will they be looking at banned websites? Will they be looking at websites which they are not supposed to open? Technology has the advantages, but it is also disruptive in any way, in some ways or the other. So the existing education system, when it is using a technology, should also identify disruptive technologies and prevent students from accessing them. That is one of the important things that are touched by this. We have to use technology for integrative purposes, but we should take all precautions not to make it possible for students to be lost because of using a technology diversion or using this technology freely without any control. Online and digital education, thanks to COVID-19, we have all been, our students, our teachers, our managements, have colleges en masse have started online and digital education using Zoom, Google Meet, whatnot, Microsoft Teams, and so on and so forth. Leveraging technology has advantages, but its potential risks and dangers are to be acknowledged, and pilot studies are needed to assess the benefits of online education and how to mitigate the downsides. The pros will have to be strengthened, the cons will have to be contained. The digital divide between urban and rural people has to be eliminated. Use of technology for online and digital education should address concerns of equity. Some people may not be able to use Androids, smartphones, iPhones, computers, laptops, tabs, desktops for studying. That has to be all addressed. So, given the emergence of digital technologies, policy recommends following key initiatives: pilot studies, digital infrastructure, online teaching platforms and tools, content creation, digital repository, addressing digital divide, virtual labs, and so on and so forth. Then, how do you make it happen comes to point number 25. Strengthening the central CABE, Central Advisory Board on Education. A department has to be strong enough to take all these things into cognizance and make it happen, you see, from rural areas to urban areas, pan-India basis. It will be, CABE will be responsible, Central Advisory Board of Education will be responsible for developing, articulating, evaluating, and revising the vision of education on a continuous basis. The only thing permanent in life is change. Change is the only permanent thing in life. So we have to make CABE or Central Advisory Board of Education to revise the vision of education on a continuous basis on the needs of the place, needs of the society, needs of a country. The Ministry of Human Resource Development to be designated as a Ministry of Education. I was making a reference to this change in nomenclature. Financing affordable and quality education for all. Public expenditure on education has been around 4.43 of GDP, far smaller than most developed and developing countries. 130 crore or 240 crore people, the expenditure on education is 4.43. It is also not released in a timely basis. It has to be increased and it should be made available in time. Financing affordable and quality education continued. Financial support will be provided to ensure universal access as shown below. Universal provision and quality early childhood care education, foundational literacy and numeracy, adequate and appropriate resourcing of school complexes, clusters, providing food and nutrition. Do you have this midday meal scheme, madam, sir, in Maharashtra for +2 students or school students?
Sorry, sir.
You have midday meal scheme?
No, sir.
In schools?
In Maharashtra, it's not going on right. After
Even
the
schools.
lockdown, it is not in functioning.
Okay, right. Investing in teacher education and continuing professional development of teachers, revamping colleges and universities to foster excellence. Excellence we have to aim at. NAAC is trying to bring up the quality of colleges by continuous evaluation, hand-holding of colleges. The cluster is also doing it. Your college FDP is also perhaps aimed at developing yourselves, your teachers, so that you see the students will also develop. Nurturing excellence, nurturing quality, cultivating research and extent use of technology and online education. Even the low level of funding in education in India is frequently not spent in a time. We used to be an aided institution. Now the state government has transferred all the aided staff from our colleges to government colleges and made our college and several colleges, more than 100 colleges into self-financed colleges. And even the funding that we used to receive from the center and from the state was not released on time. So March 31st, you all know, is the deadline for financial year closure. They would release the funds in the last half of March 15th. After March 15th, they say the fund is released. You have to spend these 3 crores in before 31st of March with quotations, everything, you see, inspection, all these things, and you have to submit bills. How is it possible? And the committee brings that kind of idea. The policy calls for rejuvenation, active promotion, support for private philanthropic. You see, the government recognized that it is not enough to support education, higher education institutions. Private parties have to be invited to support. The light but tight regulatory approach mandates full public self-disclosure of finances, procedures, course and program offerings, and educational outcomes of all institutions, public and private. Transparency is the watchword of all processes: teaching, recruitment, admission, and spending. All these things have to be transparent, says the report. Implementation will be led by various bodies, and implementation not just in intent, but also in spirit, in a phased manner, priority for optimal sequence of policy points, comprehensive implementation, but education falls under state and central government. So a joint sitting is required between states and center to bring about the changes. And in time, resources have to be pumped in. What kind of resources? Human, infrastructural, financial support has to be given. Financially, a careful analysis and review of linkages between multiple parallel implementation steps will be necessary. So when you are trying to bring in changes, you will have to have consultation at the center with the central bodies, at the state level, university bodies or government bodies. Subject-wise implementation committees of experts in cooperation, consultation with other relevant ministries will be set up at both the central and state levels to develop detailed implementation plans. You have to have plans to implement them in a proper manner. This is how the government wishes to implement the National Education Policy 2020. And I have tried to sum it up as far as possible. Perhaps I'm forced to rush a little, not covering and not touching points. I thought, some of the relevant points I have to cover, and the other points I think I have skipped. The PPT is with you. You can go through it. You can discuss it. Your IQAC can have an in-depth analysis on this. But I request you to kindly go to the original also, download the original document, 65-page document, make it available, one in the library, one in the principal room, one in the IQAC coordinator's room, perhaps one each in the department. Doesn't cost more than 60 rupees or 50 rupees for the whole print, back and back, A4 65 pages of print. This is a bird's eye view. I'm happy that a college in your area has come forward to organize such kind of webinar to educate the staff members so that the students will be educated through the educated, empowered teachers. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. It has been a wonderful experience. I am prepared to answer if you have any questions, and time and patience, and if you are not hungry.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an amazing, engaging, enlightening, and a very informative session that you have and you had now. Sir, first of all, I feel always overwhelmed whenever I interact with you because of the halo of your personality, the way you advise, and the perfection with which you give the suggestions and everything. So it's a really great honor for the college like J.A.T. Arts, Science and Commerce College, which is a very small scale college, minority college and for women also. So, sir, with your advice, definitely we will go much ahead than our status quo, and we will try to improve ourselves. And sir, one more thing I would like to share with you, that the way you deliver your lecture, you conduct your sessions, show how enthusiastic you are about the betterment of higher education in our country, sir. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He give you a good health, a sound mind, and such an enthusiastic spirit with which you serve the nation and the faculties all over the nation. And sir, we very humbly request you that whenever in future we need your tremendous knowledge, experiences, and expertise, so you will positively respond to us and do the same thing that you have done in this session.
Agreed.
So, sir,
Agreed.
sir,
I have my own say, requirements. Try to take a picture, a geotagged picture of as many participants as possible. I request them to come onto the screen. And if there are any quick questions, if they are not hungry, if they have not already left, ask them to raise any questions related to the lecture delivered today.
yes, definitely. We will do the same as you have advised us. Thank you so much, sir, for everything. Means, I am still thunderstruck by the enthusiasm with which you deliver lectures at this age. Even we are not capable of doing the same, sir. So, thank you very much for everything, sir.
You're welcome.
And we want to we wish to meet you, sir, and we want to meet you offline also, sir. I have attended many seminars in of different colleges just to meet you, but unluckily I couldn't get the chance to meet you, sir. Only on the IQAC cluster India group we interacted with you and utilized all the suggestions that you have given, sir. So thank you again, sir.
Thank you. No questions then?
Thank you, sir.
No questions then?
No, sir, there is no question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if possible, you see, just try to post a couple of pictures, geotagged pictures you have taken in a IQAC cluster Telegram group 1.
Yes,
And send me 1 or 2 shots also. 2, see, send me a list of participants of this webinar. Ask Sumitra madam. And if possible, try to give a press note, maybe in vernacular papers, Urdu paper or English paper, whatever, and keep it, because it is going to be a record for you and also for me. Thank you so much. Thank you all, friends.
With a glass of water without any interruption, you continuously.
Yeah, I have it. Thank you, sir.
Shall I wind up the session, sir?
Thank you. Yeah, we'll stop it here. Bye.
God bless you.
Sunitra madam, bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for this very interesting and informative session. We enjoyed too much. You have given a lot of guidance to us, and in future also we expect the same. So in future also, sir, we will